Hi, Rod from the Fleet News Group again, and today I have here with me the Ford Everest Ambiente. Are you a fleet driver or a fleet manager? Maybe looking for an SUV on your next novated lease? Then have a look at this video because I'm going to tell you all about the Ford Everest Ambiente. In today's video, we're looking at the Ford Everest Ambiente. We'll take a look at what it's like to drive, the engine performance, fuel economy. We'll look at some of its competitors as well and see how it stacks up against them. Is it a comfortable car to drive? Can you do long distances or survive the suburban crawl in heavy peak hour traffic? We'll also look at little handy features that make it stand out. And whilst this might be the base model, we'll have a look at how well equipped it really is in real world conditions. So stay here, keep watching, and we'll learn all about the Ford Everest Ambiente. And remember, if you like these videos, don't forget to hit that like button down below, as well as hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can be kept up to date with everything we're doing here at the Fleet News Group. Go on, give that like button a tickle. You know you want to. Looking at the Everest Ambiente, who's going to buy this type of vehicle? Who's the target customers? Obviously, if you're looking for your next novated lease and you want a large SUV, four-wheel drive, the Everest should certainly be on your list. But in the fleet space, what kind of companies are going to need this kind of vehicle for the work they need to do? Mining, agricultural businesses, rail infrastructure would all be key contenders, I'd say, looking for this kind of vehicle. In fact, any business where the salesperson or the fleet manager or whoever needs to drive this company vehicle around needs to do a bit of distance every now and then, remote, regional, rural travel, etc. And occasionally has to go off-road, especially when you're thinking things like mining and rail infrastructure. There's lots of rough tracks they'll have to conquer in their vehicles there, and this kind of vehicle's built for it. Maybe if the fleet has, I don't know, a whole fleet of Rangers for the workers to go around in, the Everest might be considered for one of the supervisors or management. And being a seven-seater, you can also take a few workers with you. So there's that to consider. But I think many and varied people who'd be interested in this kind of vehicle, and those who would want one, it's going to live up to their expectations every day of the week. Well, what's under the bonnet of the Everest Ambiente? First up, it's back, the dangly stick. Sorry, gas struts, just saying. The engine is a 2-litre 4-cylinder bi-turbo diesel motor, rated at 154 kilowatts of power and 500 newton meters of torque. Ford lists the fuel economy on the combined scale at 7.2 litres per 100 k's. But in driving it around this week, the best I've seen at average, and it's a mixture of highway, freeway, urban driving at 10 litres per 100 k's. Emissions. The listed emissions for this vehicle is 190 grams per kilometre travel. So for every kilometre you go, 190 grams of CO2 pumps into the atmosphere. Extrapolate that over about a year, 20,000 k's say, that's 3.8 tonnes of CO2 into the atmosphere each year driving this vehicle. So there's that for fleets to consider as well. Well, taking a look at the styling of the Everest now. It's a very well proportioned SUV. It's a large SUV, of course. Has very good road stance and presence. I think it's quite a looker, to be honest. Even if it is in the basic white here. Colours are always an optional extra. But looking at it, it's quite good. The front has the C and D daytime running lamps in the headlights here, even in the base model. Whereas on Ranger, you don't get that till you get up into the XLS and XLT models. But here on the Everest Ambiente, they're standard as well. This has the optional 18-inch alloy wheels on this car, which makes it a little bit better for off-roading. It normally comes with alloy rims, 17-inch and highway tyres. But they look all right there. I think they're quite good. But what's it like for a fleet driver living with it every day? You've got to work in this vehicle, you've got to get in and out all the time. Well, this one's pretty damn good, to be honest. And all we do, we unlock it, proximity key in my pocket, mirrors fold open because it's been unlocked, open the door, step up on the board, and you're straight on into it. Nice, simple, and easy. That's good. And when it comes to locking the vehicle, pet peeve, no sound, nothing, you walk across the car park, is it locked? With the Everest Ambiente here, push the button, she locks, and the mirrors fold in, so when you walk away, one glance back, you know it's locked. That's really good. Well, here I am in the driver's seat of the Ambiente. Having a look there, we've got a nice, beautiful digital instruments there. Easy to read. With the display there telling me the trip computer settings, and then when I play with a little dial over here, we'll change it over into the different drive modes, changing to 4 auto there, 4 high. You go into 4 low as well, but you've got to put it in neutral and have the motor running to do that. And that's the dial down here I've been using to do that. We then have some control switches here, the auto stop start for the motor, the downhill assist control, the mode control, towing, slippery, normal and eco modes, the switch to lock the rear differential, traction control switch, and the parking sensors. The park brake is electronic. You have to apply it yourself by turning it on, but if you forget to do that when you drive off, it doesn't matter. The moment you touch the accelerator, forward or reverse, it just turns that off. Of course, it has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto down here. I have my phone plugged in at the moment, that way I don't have to take it out of the case. Just wire it in there through the USB-A port or USB-C if I so choose. There's a wireless charging mat under here as well. You can put your phone down there on that. I just prefer it in the case so it doesn't slide around. So that's good. And of course here also, even though this is the base model, we've got a full push button stop start system. There it is, trying to hide from me. Put your foot on the brake, push the button, away you go. That way you can keep the key in your pocket so you don't lose it. But very important for all fleet drivers, got to have your morning coffee. The coffee cup test. Big coffee cup here, nice, simple and easy to have a drink, and slot it back in without even looking at it. And on the other side here, nice space in the door bin to have your drink flask there. Keep your water with you. Always handy to have. So it's a very nice environment here inside the Everest Ambiente. Well, here I am now in the rear seat of the Everest. Good bit of headroom, knee room, toe room. Got it all going on here. It's quite comfortable. Got the nice big headrest behind me here if I need a bit of a breeze. Got vents coming through the roof here. Very nice. So there's a nice bit of space back here. Travel quite comfortably. Doing work in the back, someone else is driving. I've got somewhere to have my laptop sitting there and do that sort of work on it if I need to. Cup holders, armrest. We'll fold it away if it's not needed. And if you need power to run your laptop, There's a 12 volt in the back here, but you will need a USB adapter to have your cable be able to plug in and charge. It's quite good back here. And of course the Everest, being a 7-seater here, has the third row seat as well. Seats slide forward and all the rest of it to let the passengers access into the 2 seats there. And if you look at my previous video on Everest, which is put a link in the description below, and or the card up above there, it's quite comfortable to sit in the back there. Well, for short distances anyway, but it's probably the best in class in terms of space it provides in the Ford Everest. Third row seat. Well, what's in the back of the Everest? Let's take a look. Manual tailgate, because it's gas struts. Love gas struts. It's a 7-seater, so there's a bit of space back here to put a bit of stuff there, but if you need a bit more room, pull the lever and let it go down. And there's even more space, a 5-seater. If you need even more, the other 2 seats go down as well. It makes a very large cavernous space to carry lots of stuff. Just in case you've been, you know where, Bunnings, IKEA, won't say that too loud. But there's plenty of room to carry all the stuff you need in the back of the Everest. Very versatile. Underneath here, some room to put a few little knickknacks and things out of the way, but the spare tyre, it's up under there, out of the way. So if you suffer the indignity of a flat and it's all loaded up, you don't have to unload it to get the spare out. That's a good thing. Well, what's it like to drive the Everest? This is the base model. It's a very well equipped base model. And I'm sitting here and the engine goes out. That's the stop-start system on the engine working. And basically, in no small part, does that actually aid with the fuel economy. Looking at the average at the moment, I think I spoke the other day when recording the video, that was around 10 litres per 100 k's versus Ford's 7.2 as listed. It's improving a bit at the moment. I'm at 9.8. So that's a good thing. A little bit more highway running up and down, and that probably helped that as well. But for such a large vehicle, it's not bad fuel economy when you think about it. The air's on, so the motor starts up again there, just needs to keep the temperature. So that's all good. But looking at the ergonomics of it, this massive screen here, I've got Waze going at the moment, or it could be Google Maps, whichever platform you choose to use for your navigation. But it's such a large screen. It's just so easy to quickly glance down, see what's going on, and look back at the road. Very important, very safe. Here we go now, line's gone green, we're moving off. Speaking of safety, Everest has a 5-star ANCAP safety rating. Very important in the fleet space to have the 5 stars, and for everyone else for that matter. Also, it has an absolute plethora of driver aid features, and remembering, this is the base model, the entry-level model, if you like. We've got the fabric seats and the plastic steering wheel and the hard surfaces, yeah. But that's where being a base model basically ends. It's actually quite a comfortable car to drive. It's very well appointed. Dual zone climate control air conditioning. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then the driver aid features. It's got blind spot monitoring, radar cruise, emergency assist braking, emergency evasive steering. It's got all those things going for it, along with rear cross traffic alert, camera out the back, parking sensors front and rear. It's a very well equipped vehicle and quite a safe drive. Adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, all those features are there to help keep the driver, the passengers and the car itself safe. And that's very good and very comforting to know. Whilst out driving, what's it actually like? I've got great vision out the front, good view all around basically. It's comfortable, nice comfortable position, reach and rake steering, lumbar support on the driver's seat, very important. That can adjust it correctly for you as you're driving to make sure your back is well supported, because especially if you're doing a long distance drive, and hey, that could even equate to the commute sometimes, honestly. it's good to be comfortable, and if you're comfortable, you're likely to arrive rested and refreshed once you get to your destination. And that's very important when it comes to things like fatigue management. The ride of the Everest, well, I had this in the Everest Wild Track a few months ago as well, and I don't know whether it's the wheelbase or not. At times on rougher surfaces it feels a bit jiggly and busy compared to Ranger. Ranger has a slightly longer wheelbase and it seems to ride a bit smoother, but yeah, it just feels a little bit busy at times. Not uncomfortable, but I just noticed because I drive so many different cars. Motor starts again, away we go. How does the engine perform, the 2 litre bi-turbo? Well, when it comes time to put the foot down, it gets up and does the business for you. Is it a rocket ship? No. It gets there, but it's by no means in the same league as the V6. Obviously, it's missing 2 cylinders, but it does what it does, and as it gets up and goes, and you've got to pass with confidence, it's not going to be a problem. From a standing start, you start to feel the mass of the car and the engine fighting against that, which is just what it is. It's not an F1 car, that's for sure. Nor can an F1 car take 7 people in it. There's that to consider. But it is a pleasant drive, whether you're doing the urban commute, the long interstate haul, regional travel, off-road, on the beach, it will do everything for you. Living with it every day, working in and out of the car. It's comfortable and easy to get in and out of. As I mentioned before, lumbar support, reach rate steering, all those things to make it comfortable for the driver. I think it ticks an awful lot of boxes. And when you look at some of its competitors like Prado, MUX, things like that, I think it stands tall above them. And for fleet managers looking for a vehicle of this type for their fleet, I think you and your drivers...
Approaching a level crossing.
Well, that's handy to know. But you and your drivers will be well rewarded having this type of vehicle. Will the family like it? Hey, it's an adventure. It can tow a caravan, it can tow a boat. You can go on the beach, you can do all sorts of things in it. Plus, you can, with the 7 seats, hey, soccer practice, a few extra teammates got to be transferred home at night after soccer practice. Just lift them up in the back and you're good to go. I think it's versatile, comfortable and practical, and will serve someone working in and out of it every day, look after the family on the weekends, give good resale value and potential, and even extended the warranty to the new owners, as we've talked about before, for the fleet buyers. I think Ford Everest, it's a good choice for your fleet or to park in your driveway. Well, what's the ownership experience with the Everest Ambiente? Like all Ford vehicles, it comes with the Ford factory warranty for 5 years and unlimited kilometres. When it comes to servicing, there's a cap price service program, and the Ford dealer network throughout Australia is incredibly vast and well widespread, so no matter where you go, if you have an issue, there's going to be a dealership there to help you get things happening again as you'd want them to. But best of all, when you do take your car to have it serviced by a Ford dealer, they'll give you another one to use for the day. How good is that? Hassle-free motoring on the day when it's in having a service. How good is that? And additionally, for fleets, most fleets keep their cars for generally 3 to 4 years, 5-year warranty, so when it goes time to on-sell it to its new owner, the balance of the Ford factory warranty will transfer to that new owner. So there's a bit of help and value add to sell to the new customer to help make that sale happen and move the vehicle on and probably get you a higher price. Very good. Well, as they say, tell them the price, son. What's it going to cost you? It's quite reasonable, this vehicle, considering it's a large SUV, 4-wheel drive. But let's run through the numbers. Let me just get my notes here. Everest Ambiente. The entry-level model, the Ambiente, of which this is one, actually starts at the base entry level as a rear-wheel drive. And for that vehicle, which looks like pretty much identical to this one, $60,330 drive away is the listed price. But that comes with the 17-inch wheels and highway tyres. It doesn't have a tow bar kit on it, and it doesn't have a third row seat. All of those are optional extras which you have to add to it to get the drive away price. Then there's this one, the 4-wheel drive variant of the Ambiente. It starts life here in white, because all colours are extra cost, at $65,580 drive away. To that we've got to add $1,350 for the nice 18-inch wheels and all-terrain tyres, $1,900 for the tow bar kit, and $1,200 for the third row seat that's in the back. That takes its total drive away price, including GST and all that sort of stuff as well, to $70,250 as you see it right here, right now. And that actually keeps it underneath the luxury car tax threshold, which is at $76,950. So you're going to avoid the LCT as well. That's pretty good. In 2023, VFAX listed the 3 biggest selling large SUVs in Australia as the Toyota Prado, the Ford Everest and the Isuzu MU-X. So how does the Everest here stack up against its competitors? Let's have a run through the numbers. Forgive the notes, but there's a lot to read. Let's just start off with the brake towing capacity. Everest lists the brake towing capacity at 3,500 kilos. So too does the MU-X. But the Prado is only 3,000 kilos. Payloads. Everest has a payload of 720 kilos, whereas the Prado 705 and the MU-X 665. Gross vehicle mass, 3,100 kilos for the Everest, 2,990 for the Prado and 2,800 for the MU-X. So when you start looking at the numbers, you start to see there's some differences there in how they play out and what you can actually do with the vehicles. The gross combination mass if you're towing with Everest is 6,250 kilos. Prado 5,990 and the MU-X 5,900. So all across the way there's differences in the vehicles, subtle, yes, but need to be considered, especially in the fleet space if you do have to tow. And you're required, absolutely, like all drivers, to be compliant with all the laws and things when it comes to weights and loadings, etc., and to make sure the vehicles remain insured. Very important stuff to take note of. It's not just the price. The price of the Everest, as I said, as you see it right here, right now, $70,250. The Prado, if you can find one at the moment, because there is a new model Prado coming later this year, and it's going to change things around. I don't think the engine specs are going to change any, but it's a weird and different looking thing. Don't mind it actually, but it's coming, and the pricing on that yet to be formally released by Toyota. But the current pricing on the Prado starts at $62,830 plus on-road costs, plus any accessories you're going to put on it. So it's going to be in the same ballpark as the Everest Ambiente any case. Stuff to consider. There's lots of choice out there, but I think this one, and let's not forget, if you don't need 4x4 capability, there's a few other players in the market as well. Toyota Kluger, Kia Sorento, even the Subaru Outback are good considerations for a SUV vehicle. You can carry some people around if you need to, varying degrees of capability there. But I think when you match it all up, I think this one, the Everest Ambiente, is the one that'll come out on top. Ford Everest Ambiente. If you're looking for a large SUV, 4x4 or 4x2, remember, this does come in a rear-wheel drive as well. For your next novated lease, or maybe as a fleet manager you're thinking of adding it to your vehicle fleet, this car is well worth your consideration. It'll do basically whatever you need it to do, be it country trips in comfort, suburban runs, doing deliveries around town, tackling rough tracks to access areas the workers need to get to, or you need to take a couple of people with you to get there. Everest will do it admirably, and it is just a fantastic all-round vehicle that's comfortable, quiet, reliable, and it's just going to do the job for you every single day of the week, and twice on Sundays if you want to take it away. Hey, just saying, the beach, off-road tracks, it's got it all happening there. Very, very good. I've really enjoyed my time driving the Everest. I think it's a great car and one well worth your consideration. Remember, if you like these videos, don't forget to hit that like button down there, as well as the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can be kept up to date with everything we're doing here at the Fleet News Group. Thanks for watching. I'm Rod from Fleet News Group, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.